Hello. Oh, look, Robbie's got the side view. That's a little. We get to see the sausage making.
So do we have Denise?
We have Denise's chair.
Oh, I just sent Mary Touchton into the waiting room. We can all say aye.
No. So do they not need a password or do they need one? I didn't need one, but it gave me one in the meeting invite.
I don't know because I logged in through the Zoom, like just the regular Zoom account to start a meeting. So I don't know if it needs that or not.
Yeah, because my invite said it gave me a password. When I tried to log in just now, it let me through without it. So it'd be nice if everybody doesn't need a password, because I think that's one extra layer of.
Hey, Claudia.
Yeah. Yeah.
Are you currently the host?
Well, it looks like it. Let me sign out and then
Can you
let's.
just make the me that's over here,
Yeah.
make that one a host, please.
The one, okay.
The one with my name on
it. The Robbie McMurray.
Mike Hurst. Okay, I've got it. Yeah. Okay, how's that?
Thank you. I got it. All right, now I'm gonna log out on this one.
Okay. And for some reason, I still have a sign that's showing up that is asking me to either join a meeting or sign in, but I'm obviously already signed in. So I'm going to leave this meeting and hopefully it doesn't throw anything off.
All right.
Because it looks like I'm in 2 meetings.
Whee.
Hi, Denise.
Good morning, Matthew. How are you?
Doing well.
Good.
Hoping my Wi-Fi work, or my wife, as Chris saw, works out. So it looks like we're already having people join, so that's pretty awesome.
Mm-hmm. Everybody might be like me, just trying to check out and make sure everything works.
I know, I'm looking to see, okay, do I need more light or, now, are we just letting people wait in the waiting room until closer to time? Is that our thought?
So at this point, Justina is supposed to be letting people in, and I'm okay with going ahead and letting people in now. Is that cool?
I am too.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, because I don't want somebody that's not familiar with it freaking out saying, oh my gosh, they've forgotten me, you know.
I can't get in.
Yeah.
I'm going to make Justina a co-host. You are now a co-host, Justina.
Good morning, Gail.
Good morning.
How are you?
I'm fine. I thought I was late. Turns out I'm early.
Well, it's good to see you.
That's the way I lead my life. Will I just come back at 12:30?
You can.
Okay.
Or you
Shall
can
I
just
leave
hang
it
out with
on like
us.
this?
Yeah.
Okay, that's what I'll do. I'm going to disappear, but I will be back. Thank you.
All right.
Okay.
Hey, Mary Touchton, can you hear us? Maybe not.
Good morning, Jeff.
How you doing?
I'm fine. How are you?
Hey, meeting doesn't start till 12:30, right?
Right.
That's correct.
I'll step away, but I'll be back.
Okay.
Okay.
We'll see it.
I know that man down there.
Are you guys in different rooms or the same part or different parts of the same room?
I'm in the living room and he's in his office.
Ah.
Man cave is a very good word for him being in his office.
Yeah. So I feel we're part of like a real experiment here. So.
We are. we are.
At least there are no drugs involved.
Right.
Yesterday, Doris and I and many other people were at a bar mitzvah for a nephew down in Atlanta, and there was, screen after screen after screen of people. Yeah, it was great.
Nice.
I'm trying to adjust my computer and my camera. I need Will Dunklin here to show me how to do stage lighting.
I had AB help me with mine.
Right.
Well, I actually hear there is some sort of beauty setting on Zoom, but I have not found it yet. So
It's under your video settings. If you go to down there where it says video, well, I guess.
So it's a real true thing, huh?
Yeah. On that side.
Oh, okay.
Go down to where the video is, go into video settings, and then there's under, actually, I'll see if I can show you. So there's a thing that says, touch up my appearance. You see that?
Well, I think we should all try and do that. Yeah.
I don't have that one.
Yeah.
Oh, there it is. No, there it is. Oh, okay.
Well, wonder what that does for me.
Where is it? I don't see it.
Under my video.
Yeah, except I don't see it. I don't see that even. I
You have to
see.
move your mouse to the bottom of your screen.
Again, if you go down to the bottom of your screen and
Move your mouse.
video settings and bring up video settings, it should bring you to a screen that looks like this. At which point you should see like general and video and audio over here on the left. And if you click on the video part, and
Okay.
go down to my video.
Oh,
First
yeah.
of all, everybody should click on Enable HD if you haven't already, but then Touch Up My Appearance is right there.
Oh, there's HD. Wow. Okay. Beauty settings. Well, I don't know about that. There's allegedly some way of changing the background so you have the Grand Canyon behind you.
Yeah.
Oh, virtual background. There you are. Oh, okay. Here. I'm going to San Francisco. There you are. Or in, sort of as Chris said today, live long and prosper. I can't breathe. No, that's Northern Lights. Okay. I'm going back to reality.
Have you found it, Denise? Are you still looking?
I'm looking at some text.
Yeah, I
I
think
want-
somebody had a problem because they didn't have their name, just their number, but I think Justina figured it out. Because I just got a text.
I want to know who has the spotty wife.
That was me.
Actually, Matthew, I read that before I read the name of it. And I thought, oh no, somebody's having a problem with the congregational meeting because they're having a problem with their wife.
No, Wi-Fi got changed to wife.
You really amaze us, Matthew. I just, not only a wife, but a spotty one. It's just.
Right? Oy vey.
What?
It's an oy vey.
Yeah.
We needed a little laughter.
Right?
Robbie, you've silenced yourself there.
Sorry, say that again.
He saw that you were muted.
Oh yeah, I always mute myself.
He's taking it off.
Good idea.
Ryan, you're also muted.
Sure has too many patterns. Change again.
It
You
is.
probably need to mute AB.
I am with my entire family, including all of the children right now, and so it is nap time, and there's a lot of noise. So I will be muted for until nap time really kicks in.
Well, you can do that.
So hey, I wanted to test something real fast because I was thinking about, we're going to take this congregational meeting and I'm going to put it on Facebook Live at some point when it's closer to 12:30. I'm going to start streaming it on Facebook. And I thought about the fact that like when I'm sharing a screen, I don't think the shared screen ends up making it to Facebook. And so I figured out a different way to share my screen so that you can hopefully see it just in my thing. So I can like spotlight myself and then show that.
Yeah.
That's backwards. So I'll have to fix that. Hang on.
Oh, so I probably need to print out the slides because I can't see that.
Well, if I do like this, can you see it now?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's interesting.
So I figured this will work better than trying to use the screen sharing, hopefully. And I think this will show up on the Facebook Live feed.
So Denise, I have a procedural question. Maybe you said that maybe you said this and I just missed it. When we do the nominations, we go over the ballot. Are you going to call for extra nominations? I know we hope we don't get any, but
No, we when we sent out the congregational letter, we said there would be no.
oh, okay,
Yeah.
okay. I didn't know if we
Nothing from the
could do that.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
other churches have done it. We've looked at other UU procedures for Zoom meetings, and one of them had put on there no amendments or write-ins because of COVID-19 procedures in Zoom meetings. It just made it too complicated.
That's sick.
Jeff was hoping somebody else would be nominated, I think.
I asked if Doris could write in your name for second.
I am constitutionally prohibited from continuing.
No, we had Robbie for 4 years. He wasn't supposed to be with us for 4 years.
Let me just say, before the meeting, I thought today's service was fantastic.
Yeah.
I thought
Yes, it was.
this is for all ages, and
I'm
the
sorry, I missed it. I'll have to watch it later.
sermon was fantastic. The way he moved from place to place in the thing, and it was just, and the singing was great too. I mean, the whole thing. I marvel who puts that stuff together. Honestly, who gets
It is a team, but it is a team. However, the actual video clips and all are put together by Cindy Buchanan, Daniel Buchanan's wife.
well, I am extraordinarily thankful for the way it's done.
Yeah. Well, she puts all the clips together and everything. And then this morning, Robbie made it all work because he pushed the button that said start the service.
Plus or minus some glitches here and there. I looked up at some point and saw that it was like, your internet is completely gone right now. And I was like,
Yeah.
right now? I'm
Yeah.
streaming the entire service. What?
Yeah.
Right now.
Yeah.
So I'm sorry for the technical glitches there. I had to hit stop and go back, and it was a mess. But yeah.
Well, and yours was not the only internet, because I've already seen at least one text message that someone else's, their internet had a problem. So they just said that they're waiting for the video to be, put where they can see it, Yeah.
All we need now is a thunderstorm that would cut out everybody's Wi-Fi.
Don't say that. It's supposed to come at
Yeah,
1
let's
o'clock. Wendy, you're jinxing us.
I don't have Facebook, so I'm not able to do the coffee hour after the service. Doris does. I don't believe in Facebook, but I'm so happy to be able to talk to you guys.
Yeah.
I mean,
It
it's not going to make me get Facebook. I'm too.
Works.
I'm glad I'm not the only one who doesn't do Facebook. I have it, but I have never posted a message.
I don't know.
Now, Jeff, do you go to YouTube?
Yeah. For example, yesterday I called up several YouTube things on Milwaukee Forest. If that's a concept to anybody. What it is, it's really dense forests that the size of a tennis court or something, with a large number of species. Miyawaki is Japanese. Developed this, and he's done a lot of it in East Asia, Indonesia, South Asia, but also interested in it for North America. We have on our relatively small lot about 42 species, but we like native plants, and we're wondering, is there something I'm missing? Is there something I can do to increase the species diversity? Because you increase the plant diversity, in a very dense setting, you also increase, well, first of all, it brings the temperature down, saves energy that way. And it also increases the species diversity of all kinds of things, fungus,
Peacefully in Tokyo, holding Black
Mhm.
Lives Matter signs. Thousands turned out in New Zealand.
Well, whoever's in charge of forums, we need to have Jeff do the next forum.
NASCAR resumes its stock car racing
We have a
schedule
radio.
today in Homestead, Florida.
Yeah, all I
As
know,
Greg Eklund reports, the event will have a different look.
For the first time since NASCAR resumed its Cup schedule on May 17th, there will be fans.
Somebody got a
limited to 1,000 at the track that seats 46,000. Driver Martin Truex said he had to get used to a new experience. Then last Wednesday night, just kind of weird.
how is it you do all these games that you play with Doris and Chloe and whoever?
We play what, me? What? Which? Yeah. Well, I can't play on my computer because my computer doesn't have a mic or camera. So it took me several weeks to figure out that I could do it on my iPad, which normally works, but it's a little unpredictable. If I do it on the computer, then I have to call in on the phone at the same time. And then the iPad is so small, I actually use my computer for the game board for the games. So I have the game up on the computer, and then if anybody wants to see my face or hear me, then I have to go to my iPad.
Oh, wow.
So Wendy, could you get just a webcam and attach it to your computer?
Well, I could. My plan is to get a new computer, but I really want to go out shopping, and I want to look at computers if I buy one. So I think I'm going to have to do that. I'm kind of in a crisis situation. Well, if the iPad is working, I'm here. You can see me. Every once in a while, I will log on to Zoom, and I have no sound at all, either for me. I can't hear, and nobody can hear me. But I can't figure out what it is that triggers that. If anybody, Robbie, if you can figure out what that would be, let me know. We don't know.
Wendy, I was having the same problem.
Really?
And yes, and my husband spent hours trying to figure it out. And it seemed like I had inadvertently set it up on an Android, and I was on a Microsoft Windows trying to run an Android application, whatever that means. This is the first time in about a month that I've been able to hear and see.
Good to see you. I just figured out. I scrolled over and saw it was Lynn. Hey. Well, I don't think that's my problem. In fact, last week I had 2 meetings back to back. I logged into one and there was no sound. And then when that meeting ended, I just logged off and immediately logged on to the other one, and I had sound. So I don't know. So maybe it's something about the way the meeting is set up. I don't know.
There are settings within the meeting setup where you can specify certain things, like whether you want to have audio when you first log in and like what kind of audio you want to use. And so it's possible that you have a setting in your profile that needs to be changed. And the best way to go about fixing that is to go to zoom.us and log into your account and like look at your profile settings.
Okay, but why would it, I mean, wouldn't I have the same profile for both meetings?
Not necessarily. It depends on who's the person setting up the meeting. Like each meeting host is the one that sets the audio profile, I guess, that's going to be used for that meeting.
But most of the meetings that I'm in are hosted by the same person. It's Barbara Johnson, both my small group and all the game meetings. And sometimes it does, and sometimes it doesn't. So again, that's not it either. I'm trying to find the variable that is causing it. So I was worried that today wouldn't work, but now I can't hear anything.
No one's talking.
Okay. Robbie muted himself. That was
Yeah, sorry. We're text messaging back and forth.
Okay.
We're trying to figure out, there's somebody's in the waiting room who doesn't have a name associated with them. And it's one of those like, should we let this person in just to find out who it is and then kick them right back out if they're like a Zoom bomber or what? I've tried to look them up on the list of participants, and I
Claudia,
can't find a way to look them up.
Claudia, you're muted if you want us to hear you. There you are.
Okay, so we can't see whether they have video or not, I guess.
Can you mute up?
I'm just going to remove them. Is that cool? They can try again.
Yeah, if it's somebody we know, they will probably text somebody saying I can't get in.
Yeah.
I think.
Is there a way to message to them and say, who are you?
We tried that and they didn't respond.
Uh-oh.
That's what concerns me. They're not responding. Could be a Zoom.
So they've been kicked out of the waiting room. We'll see if they show back up.
Could be a wrong number. One time I typed in when I was typing in the number, I put in the wrong number and it told me I was on somebody's unknown person's Zoom account.
That people can't get into this meeting unless they have the link, because this is a registered,
different, yeah.
Registered meeting.
I'm
So
married.
put it back over there when you finish.
I'm going to see if I can find it.
It's right there.
Okay, that do it.
Mhm. All right, thank you.
Here, close this. Tools, close that window there. Oh, up here, tools. View, I'm sorry. View. This says show hide. Tools. All right. So that's good. So go back. Here, hand me the mouse. I'll do it.
I'll just apologize now, by the way, that right now as I'm talking, you notice that the video is a few seconds behind the audio. And so you can see my lips moving several seconds after the audio comes through. I'm using a virtual camera that has like a 3 millisecond lag. And so that's what enables me to switch between like this video and this video. So that's why I can't figure out how to fix that. So we'll just have to live with a little lag there.
You really got the lag so we can censor your foul language in case.
That's what it really is. Yeah, got 3 seconds, 3 milliseconds to.
Right. Right.
Well, y'all, I think we may have started this a little early. We've got 15 more minutes.
Yeah, I just figured out how to do a virtual background. That's a virtual background.
Nice.
It's perfect for you. Hey, I just talked to Mark Mahundro. He's leading the virtual coffee hour. And he said their plan is to end about 20 after 12. So we may have a little bit of an influx of people right around that time.
Okay.
Doris was in the next room, and I asked him, he said, "Oh, the meeting doesn't start until 12:30." So yeah, I may be collaborating via Facebook with the friends.
Oh, maybe you hadn't started so early, it wouldn't have gone so smoothly.
Yeah, you've jinxed us now. Thanks, man.
We could just do breathing exercises. Relax.
This is a question I have for Robbie or somebody. When we have an extra 85 people log in, are we going to go from screen to screen to screen, or how's that going to work?
So on my screen, I know I can see 49 participants at a time, and I know we've got 107 registered, or 109 now registered. So when we do the polls, when we do election things, it's not going to be like a raise your hand kind of situation. It's we're going to use the polls. And so there's a built-in feature to Zoom that allows us to put a poll up on your screen that you can say that you approve of or disapprove of different things. And we've got all of those already set up. So you won't have to actually see everyone, but you can if you want to.
You can scroll through and look at everybody if you want.
Yeah, on my iPad, I can only see 9 people at a time.
You're going to have a lot of scrolling to do.
Right?
Mhm.
I know. Do I have to see everybody who's talking? I mean, I just.
If you put it on speaker view, it should be that whoever's talking just pops up to the front.
Oh.
And so whenever we're doing specific, segments in the congregational meeting, I'm going to spotlight videos so that they should be the person you see at that time.
How do I put it on speaker view?
Hi, Doris.
Hi.
What do I have to on?
So speaker view on a PC is in that corner up there, where there's like it says gallery view or speaker view, and you should be able to click a button to switch between them.
Oh, I'm on my iPad, and I don't have. Let's see.
I don't remember. I think it's if you
meeting settings, maybe. Should I try that?
If you swipe the screen all the way to the left, there should be like when you just see one person and not a gallery of people, that is speaker view.
Okay, how do I get back to that? Oh, maybe I just toggle off. Hang on.
Oh, I see that. Yeah.
Where I did. Okay, switch to active speak. Okay. Oh, okay. Yeah, I've got Doris on.
Now I see everybody.
Oh, you did the way. Okay, I've got Doris in the very large scale here. And then I've got 4 more people on the bottom.
Oh. I just said equal sized everybody.
Yeah, that's okay.
That is the gallery view.
Hey, Robbie,
Yeah.
I have someone that says they are in the waiting room, but they're not showing up in the waiting room.
Yeah, they are
They
not
just-
in the waiting room. Tell them to try again. You want me to send another link to them?
That would be great.
All right. And that's. Okay. I don't even see that that person is registered.
Uh, well, that may be their problem then.
The virtual background.
Let me look really fast.
I could do that for you.
Yeah, I can confirm. I looked up both first name and last
I
name.
think I know how to do it,
They're not in there.
but
Okay. I know that name. So I'm going to talk to Chris real quick.
You can find their email address and then send it to me in the chat, or send it to me by text. I can, or just go to tvuc.org/register and type your information in and register them real fast.
Okay.
Like if you can find their email address, that's the way to do it.
Okay.
Maybe when Mark announces to the coffee hour that they should go to the meeting, he should also say, make sure you're registered or something.
yeah, he just said it was gonna.
Just said it, so, yeah.
Oh, he said,
Turn it
oh,
off.
coffee hour, hello.
Okay, Jeff, how do I do that?
Oh, okay, hang on. Did you have a picture?
Is it down there? Oh, no, I forget it.
I'll show you. Eunice, hi.
Patty? Oh, wow.
Hi, Claudia.
Hey, how are you all?
Hey.
Good morning, Betty.
Hi, Betty.
Hi.
Hi, Ruth.
I'm getting a message. My internet is unstable.
It may be okay if you just hang in there. Sometimes mine does that and then comes back. Yeah.
Good morning, Eunice. It's good to see you.
Hi, thank you. Who's bird? I keep hearing a bird.
I have birds in my yard here.
Oh. It might be me. I'm on my back porch.
We could get all our birds singing together. It would be quite.
I like that idea.
I've got a bird out my window too.
Hey, Robbie, can you hear me?
Hi, Mark.
Hey.
Ready to go?
8th Street is.
Hey Denise, are you talking about share the plate, or is that what we decided, or who's doing that?
It's going to be me unless you'd like to do it.
It doesn't matter to me. It'd be nice though if we could say something about Terry Uselton,
Okay,
since he's not able to be here today. Yeah,
because his father died.
exactly.
Okay.
Yeah.
Did we find the updated list for them?
Claudia sent one out to us.
Okay, good. Just wondering.
Will, you need to dust.
Hey Robbie.
Yes.
I just got a message from Rocky. He's coming in to the meeting with his phone, and
Okay.
he said he needs a password. Do you want to text it to me or just tell it to me, or?
You say he's coming in from his phone and needs a password?
That's what he said. He said that when he, oh wait.
Claudia, that password should be in his email.
Okay, he just said, I never got a password so I could join the meeting. When I tried to phone it in, it wants a password.
Again, if you'll go to tvuc.org/register and then
Just type in.
register him,
Okay, and it'll resend. Okay,
it'll send the link to him.
okay,
And I'll check to make sure he's not already in there.
okay.
Is password for everybody?
Yeah, each one is individual.
Oh, okay.
Hi, everybody. Hey, Eddie.
Hi.
Eddie.
Hi, everybody. Hey,
The
Jenna.
music was wonderful today.
Hey, Jenna.
Yes.
Hey.
I wanted to tell you that Karen Petrie had a hysterectomy on Thursday.
Okay.
So
How's she doing?
I think she's doing okay.
I'll
Everything.
get in touch with her.
Yeah, everything went well, and she had to spend the night. But I think everything's okay. I mean, she was having bleeding problems, but there was no cancer.
Okay, well, that's good.
Yeah. So.
And how is Robert in all this?
Oh, he was worried all the time. I called him a bunch of times on Thursday and Friday.
Okay.
Okay.
So she's at home now?
Yeah.
Thank you for letting me know. I'll give her a jingle.
Yeah.
Denise, did you hear me say that I thought the music was wonderful today?
I did not. Thank you, Jenna.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
I enjoyed it. The whole service was good.
Great.
The whole service was good. Yeah, it was very timely.
Yeah.
Much needed.
Move your head up or your camera down a little bit.
What now?
Move your head up or your camera down a little bit.
Are you talking to me, Jeff?
Everyone. He's talking to everyone.
I took it personally.
Good morning, Chris.
Morning.
Thank you for your sermon this morning. It helped my spirit.
Yes, indeed. I thought the whole service was really what I needed.
Mm-hmm.
Well, if you saw the sermon description and then you saw the sermon, you know they weren't really related. Current events took over. Yeah.
That's okay. I can't remember things for 3 days.
Yeah.
Me either.
Well, it was very timely and the right message.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely. And it really helped me a lot.
Thank you.
How are we going to know that we have a quorum?
We know we have 64 participants right now.
Claudia knows.
Actually, everybody kind of knows, everybody on the team at least.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, everyone should know because it should tell everyone down under participants.
Right, we've got 68 right now.
Our bylaws say we need 50 people or a certain percentage, and this we've reached 50 people, which makes a quorum for our congregational meeting.
Or the president could simply declare a quorum and be done with it.
Right.
Did you know you had that power, Denise?
No, I've learned something again. I've learned something new again today.
On the last day that you'd be able to use it.
I know.
Hey, Robbie.
Hey, tell Rocky that he needs to go to the register site. If he goes to tvuc.org/register and tries to register, it'll say it's currently in progress, at which point he just follows the link and it'll open him right up.
Okay.
You can no longer register at this point. The meeting is already in progress as of 60 seconds ago.
Can people still get in the meeting?
Yes, people can still get into the meeting. They just need to go to tvuc.org/register and try to register for the meeting in progress. And when they do that, it'll say, this meeting's already going. You want to just open it, and you open it.
Okay. And Ted Jones is having a problem, Denise. So he said he may not be here in time to introduce the nominees. He's having a computer problem.
Okay.
What is that background, you two?
San Francisco, I see.
Hi, Gail.
Hi, good morning.
The Tiffany chandelier, that's nice.
Oh, thank you. That's the chandelier in my bedroom.
Yes, I know.
Okay.
I thought it was the NBC.
Special places, huh?
Hey, Frony.
Hey, how you doing?
I'm fine. How are you doing?
I'm doing all right.
Good afternoon, everybody.
Hi, Vera.
Hi.
There's also have a church. Dang.
Yes.
Okay. Thanks.
Yes. I'm in, but I'm not on video.
We'll take your word for it.
I can hear you.
Hey, Betty.
Hello.
Hello. I said join with video. Hello.
Hello.
Hi, Reed.
There's Legan and John.
Hi, David.
Hello.
I'm not
Stephanie.
Hi.
Hi, Stephanie.
Hi there.
We
do you
don't
have
know.
your screen?
No, I don't.
Do you have gallery view?
This morning.
Well, he will in a minute. She will.
Could you get people to mute so there's not a lot of cross noise? If you're not talking, please mute.
Hey, Lauren. There's a church meeting going on. Let me show you.
At some point, most people will be muted. Robbie's going to mute most people in a few minutes.
What I can do, you can say hi to everyone In the church?
Require me to put in this password.
Yes, I know.
Well, you can wait anyway.
Hi, Jeff.
I'll let you in soon. It still hasn't let me in.
That's Laura saying
Hey,
hi.
Holden, you're in. Holden, you're in.
Okay. One of us is in, but we need two of us to be in to vote.
Yes, and Don has the same problem. Does he need to go onto a different computer? You can't get in the meeting now.
Have you tried going to tvuuc.org/register on
He
that
registered.
device?
He's registered. We're just on the same computer though.
Well, why should that make a difference?
Both have to be logged in or not?
Will he be able to?
We have the same problem.
We
It's
have
okay.
one.
You will be able to vote.
Yeah, there's two on our computer too.
Yeah, there's two here also.
Can you connect by a phone? The process for voting is such that what's going to happen is we're going to put up a poll that is the equivalent of an aye or nay vote. And so when that sort of poll goes out, if there's any contest to a thing, we have a backup method for voting that actually requires that you go out to a website and vote that way, that such that we can get like actual numbers of people who voted for things. But that's only if there's a contest and a vote. So for the purposes of this meeting, if you've got more than one participant sitting and watching on the same screen, that's okay.
Okay.
Good. So is the meeting over?
So we still have a couple of people in the waiting room, and after those people come in, I reckon we have a quorum at this point. We've got 78 participants in the meeting, so we could go ahead, but we'll just wait a few more minutes to give people time to get in here.
Was that a motion from Gene Burr?
Yes.
I think so.
No. What?
Well, I see him moving.
What is that?
The motion.
Ian, Ken. Doris has a watch here. I think that belongs to Ken. Is that true?
Oh yeah, Ken, I have your watch.
I've never seen anything like this, like a rogues gallery.
Well, San Francisco too.
Are we supposed to be? Do we have to wear a UT hat?
No.
Please, God, no.
Viren, I'm next to you.
Yes.
Viren?
Yes.
Yes.
Did you send me a friend request for real?
I didn't.
Or were you hacked?
Say it again?
I'm Doris. Did you send me a friend request?
No.
I did not. I did not.
Okay, somebody was hacked. I'd be happy to be your friend, but most of them.
This is on Facebook?
Yeah.
I'm not on Facebook at all.
No, I was asking Viren.
Oh, okay, okay.
I don't answer them unless I talk to the person.
Smart woman.
All right, everyone, at this point, I'd like to announce that we are about to go live on Facebook. So if you don't want to be seen on Facebook, now's the time to turn off your video.
Mute means they can't hear us talk. It doesn't mean that we can't hear them. Mute's about your microphone. Mute is about your microphone.
So I can mute my microphone.
Yes, you can.
Robbie, are you going live on Facebook on TVUUC members and friends? Or on Tennessee Valley Unitarian Universalist Church?
On Tennessee Valley Unitarian Universalist Church. Do you want me to put it on friends instead? It's kind of too late at this point. It's already.
I have no preference. I just want to know which one it was. I just want to see what's going on over there too.
Will, where are you?
My living room. What?
Well, then you really need to dust.
For a
If
small
that's your
donation to the church, I'd come and dust for you.
This is Lily Munster's. This is Lily Munster's living room.
Chicken back. Will,
I thought it
Will.
looked like the Adams
What?
family.
if that's your living room, give me my chicken back. They deserve a better home. Or at least change your name.
Tina, is that offer for housework too?
All right, at this point, I'm going to go ahead and place everyone on mute and then unmute Denise to begin the meeting.
Good morning, everyone. This meeting is now called to order. Welcome all of you to our first online congregational meeting. As Matthew said this morning, we are all participating in an experiment this morning, so I ask all of you to be patient. The first thing on our agenda is we're going to confirm the covenant, and we'll also talk about vote to meet and vote virtually. So the covenant for our virtual meeting is we, the members of Tennessee Valley Unitarian Universalist Church, enter into a covenant that we will abide by our principles, especially the first principle when conducting our congregation meeting virtually. We agree to respect the inherent worth and dignity of every person involved. This includes no bullying, no racist, homophobic, ageist, misogynistic, transphobic remarks, or any other remarks that would belittle or demean any of our participants. Failure to respect these rules and fellow participants will result in immediate dismissal from the Zoom meeting of the transgressor by the moderators. We enter into this covenant knowing we as a congregation respect and love our fellow members. The main reasoning behind this is in case of any Zoom bombing, Zoom attacks, or Zoom raiding is the unwanted intrusion into a video conference called by an individual causing disruption. We agree to keep all discourse civil, and remember, love is the spirit of this church. The next item we will be voting on is the motion for a virtual meeting. We, the members of Tennessee Valley Unitarian Universalist Church, vote to have our congregation meeting virtually for the 2020-2021 year. Though our bylaws do not officially say this is not allowed, we are affirming that because of the COVID-19 pandemic and because our church is following proper COVID-19 protocols, we are voting virtually through a Zoom congregational meeting. All votes from this meeting will be valid, just as if we were meeting in person in the church space. We recognize the need to adapt and that our church is not the building itself, but the people of which it is made. So at this time, I now move that we confirm our covenant and that we vote to meet and vote virtually. And
I
Robbie's
second
gonna.
that motion.
Thank you, Robbie.
You should see now on your screen a poll that popped up. If you don't see that, take a look around, look for a poll. There should be two questions. The first one is whether you agree to abide by the covenant for this meeting. And the second one is whether you agree with the motion to, for the use of electronic voting. I'll give you a few more seconds. It looks like we've got 73 votes in so far, which is 96%. And I don't see any more votes coming in, so we'll go ahead and end the polling. And we'll share the results. You should now see that 100% approved the covenant and the use of electronic voting.
Next on our agenda will be the recognition of volunteers and outgoing board members. Even though the church building has been closed, we've had a lot of folks that have been very busy keeping up our grounds and making sure these services happen. So this morning, I want to recognize Becky Chaffee for keeping us all masked so that we can keep ourselves protected and safe. I want to recognize Eunice Turner and Dee Stevenson because they found a way to still make sure we get our gift cards by drive-by. I also would like to thank Barbara Thayer-Bacon for her work at the maintenance of the RE entrance. And we've had a lot of workers with the Memorial Garden keeping that up. Greer Novinger, Terry Usselton, John Bosted, and Eddie Chen. Thank you for your work. And on the community garden, we have Barbara Lamb, Carrie Combs-Orm, Nick Schultz, and Emmy Taylor Hulse. Thank you for your work. And on the welcome garden, we've had Doris Gov, Ken Stevenson, Bob Grimmick, Alan Morgan, Lori Knox, Awan and Zafar Castaneda, John Montgomery, Jeff Meller, and Dick Trowbridge. Thank you for your work on the welcome garden. And for keeping our Sunday morning worship services online going. I want to thank Will Dunklin for coming in and playing the organ, Bill Dabbs for working our sound, the incidentals, and any other guest musicians that we have had. At this time, I want to recognize our outgoing board members. We have leaving us this year, Jenna Mashburn, who is our past president. Jenna, you will be missed. And Wendy Sire, our secretary, Robbie McMary, our treasurer, and Debbie Ellis, a board member. I want to thank you for all of your hard work, and your presence at our meeting will definitely be missed. And I also want to take this time to recognize our staff. I think all of us will agree that I appreciate how quickly they were able to adapt to this new environment. So I want to thank Chris Weiss, Claudia Presley, Jametta Austin, Catherine Farmer Lawyer, Miriam Davis, Michael Miller, Allison Mann, Chaz Barber, Mark Mahundro, Cindy Buchanan, and John Montgomery. They were able to keep our virtual services going as well as any other special offerings we had online. At this time, I'd also like us to make a special announcement about Allison Mann. I have some happy and some not so happy news to report about Allison. The not so happy news is that Allison will not be our music director after mid-July. Her husband's company sent him back to Atlanta to work from home, and even after the virus chaos has ended, he might not return to Knoxville. Their plans to sell their home and move here, like so much these days, were upended. The good news is that Allison and David are expecting a baby in September. I know we are very pleased for them. Chris will soon be assembling a group to assess our musical needs in the face of the uncertainty surrounding reopening the church building. Please stay tuned as these plans develop. And next on our agenda, we will have a report of the nominating committee. Did Ted Jones get in?
It looks like he's in the waiting room, actually.
Okay.
He's in there several times.
Oh, he is?
Yeah.
Well, Robbie, if you put up the slide, I'll go ahead and get started.
All right.
So these are our nominations for 2020-2021. Ryan McBee, President-elect. Alan Braswell, Program Council Chair-elect. Jeff Meller, Secretary for 1 year. Alice Woody, Board Member for 3 years. Linda Randolph, Board Member for 3 years. Heather Kissner, Board Member 1 year, completing the term of Ryan McBee. Mark Mahundro, Nominating Committee Chair-elect. Jenny Sneed, Nominating Committee 2 years. Krista Schott, Nominating Committee 2 years. Gail Anderson, Endowment Committee 3 years. David Massey, Endowment Committee 3 years.
So at this point, I'm going to go ahead and put up the polls again. There is a limit in Zoom as to how many questions you can have on a given poll. And so we had to break the ballot up into 2 different sections. The first section will be Ryan McBee, Alan Braswell, Jeff Meller, down through Heather Kissner. And that poll should be coming up on your screen now. I'll give you about 1.5 minutes. And once we have the results from this poll in, I'll stop polling and then put up a second ballot, which will be the second half of the nomination slate. Looks like right now we've got 45, 47 in.
Hi, this is Ruth Horton. I'm clicking the submit button and it doesn't look like it's submitted.
Same with me.
Have you scrolled all the way down and answered all of the questions? I think.
No, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Same thing.
Now it worked. Appreciate it.
I got to give credit to Kristen on that one. She told me to proactively warn everyone. I said no.
You said you broke it up, so I didn't know that there was more on the screen.
All right, so at this point, we're at 1 minute and 47 seconds in, and we have 71 votes. It's about 91% of the people that are eligible to vote at this point, or not eligible. 71% of the participants who have the ability to vote have voted. And it looks to me like it's a pretty clear vote. So I'm going to go ahead and end the polling on this first one. And I'm going to move to the next set of nominees and launch polling. So this is now the second set of nominees. Please go ahead and mark that you approve or do not approve of each of these nominees and hit submit. And we're at a minute and a half in, and at this point, it looks like I'm not seeing many more votes coming in. And again, the results seem pretty clear. So I'm going to go ahead and end the polling here in another 5 seconds. And now I'm going to go back to the first ballot. Well, I guess, yeah. Should we share the results at this point, Denise, or do we wait and share those later?
Let's share them later.
Okay. All right. Oh, man. So the next part is my part. That's exciting. So the next part on the agenda is the proposed budget for 2020-2021. And so I'll go ahead and start talking about that. You should see on your screen the proposed budget. So if anybody doesn't know, my name is Robbie, and I'm the outgoing treasurer of the Tennessee Valley Unitarian Universalist Church. And today I'll be presenting the budget for next fiscal year, which starts on July 1st, 2020 and runs through June 30th, 2021. If anyone has any questions or comments about the budget during this presentation, please send them by chat to Ryan McBee, and I'll try to address questions at the end. So I'd like to start with expenses. Personnel costs make up about 72% of our budget this year, which is high, but is not as high as it has been in years past. Some of the changes to the budget for 2020 reflect necessary staffing changes due to the impact of the coronavirus pandemic. For example, childcare workers and nursery staff. Based on the recommendations from the UUA and guidance from health organizations, we don't really foresee the church reopening the nursery for some time, and therefore childcare workers who have been paid continuously since we closed the building back in March and will continue to be paid until July 15th will be let go on July 15th as a result of the pandemic. We've also closed the building to any renters, and as such don't have building rental income to cover rental related expenses, and therefore don't have a current need for building sextons. Sextons will also continue to be paid through July 15th, and then will also be let go. Apart from the childcare workers and sextons, we plan to retain all other positions. The expenses related to building and grounds are going up this year because of changes deemed necessary for the health and safety of churchgoers, such as increased security cameras around the building. And I think we're working on touch-free sinks and like touch-free hand soap dispensers in the bathrooms. Our operations expenses for 2020 and 2021 are also considerably higher due to the need for video production services and social media communications. You'll notice next is the UUA annual program fund expense, which we meet the minimum required increase of 10% in the budget there. And finally, under programs, the Director of Religious Education requested a reduction in their budget for supplies since they won't be meeting in the building, and requested that $1,000 be included in the budget for the Children's Diversity and Justice Library, and that amount is included under programs. If we go back to revenues, you'll see several things that have changed from last year. First of all, pledge contributions have actually increased. As a result of an excellent stewardship campaign, even in the midst of a pandemic, we've managed to increase our anticipated pledge contributions to $474,144.23. The budget for income from our portion of Share the Plate, for Generosity Sundays, the shopping cards, all of those stay the same. Non-pledge donations amount has been adjusted down based on our average non-pledge donations. The biggest changes this year are related to proceeds from events that typically require the use of the building. As well as, you'll notice that there are proceeds from the payroll protection program included in there. We have removed from the operating budget the auction, the rummage sale, and all building rentals as a result of the building being closed. And I actually look at this as kind of an opportunity. It's my understanding that the auction and the rummage sales were never really intended to be required for our annual operations. They were initially intended to be fundraising events for specific causes. And this year kind of represents an opportunity for us to go back to that model, kind of hit the reset button and go back to using the proceeds from an auction or rummage sale to raise money for some specific need. So hopefully in the future, we'll be able to keep them off the operating budget and just use them for specific causes. You'll also notice that the budget includes the recognition as income of funds that were dispersed to us back in May from the Payroll Protection Program. We received a forgivable loan of $71,026 on May 1st. We continue to meet all the requirements necessary for that loan to be forgiven in the coming months. And when it has been forgiven, we can recognize that money as revenue and utilize those funds to supplement where we don't have income from like building rentals and other events and have extraordinary expenditures such as improvements to the building and video production and that sort of thing. So before we open the floor for discussion, there has to be a motion and a second. So I move that we accept the budget as proposed for fiscal year 2020-2021.
I second that motion.
And we have, the action has been moved and seconded, and so we'll now open the floor for discussion. If anyone has any questions or comments about the budget, again, if you want to, you can send them by chat to Ryan McBee, and he will read them aloud if you want to remain anonymous. Otherwise, the floor is open for discussion.
Ken Stevenson here.
Okay, Ken, can hear you.
Yes. I wonder about the confidence in the arrival of pledges. Do you have any notion, your intuition about that compared to previous years?
My intuition about that is that it seems thus far that, you know, I was worried about it several months ago when we first got into the pandemic, thinking that people were going to be coming back and changing their pledges, reducing their pledges and that sort of thing. And it seems to me that though we have had one or two people modify their pledge, I've seen more people increase their pledge than decrease it. And so I don't have, my intuition says that we need not be concerned about it at this time. Thank you, Ken, for your question. Does anybody else have any questions?
Robbie, Will Dunklin here.
Hey, Will.
How does Allison Mann's departure from the payroll change our staffing payroll position?
That is an excellent question. This budget was prepared and passed by the board the day before Allison let us know. So this budget actually includes Allison in it, and or it includes a director of music in position in the personnel costs. And I will say that there were other requests for personnel changes that were not able to be included because, you know, when we were first looking at this, the budget was like negative by a lot, and it was not looking good. So because the director of music position is opening up, that's actually opened up the possibility to make some changes in personnel, which I've been talking to Denise and talking to members of the personnel committee and Claudia about putting together a recommendation to the personnel committee that might use some of the money that's freed up from that to give some raises, much needed raises to some of our staff. So, but that's still in consideration.
Will those discussions include musicians in the congregation so that we may at least offer some guidance looking long-term into the future?
I think that would be great. I will happily loop you into those conversations if you would mind being that musician.
Me or Chaz or any of the numerous musicians we have within the congregation that are familiar with the program.
Yeah, we're talking about getting a group of music together to do some visioning, not only through pandemic, but post-pandemic.
Thanks, Chris.
Are we talking about taking the choir director's salary out of the budget for the entire year?
So that actually is in consideration. I mean, it's something that we're talking about anyway, or at least I've been talking about it, and I haven't gotten anybody's approval yet. And that right now, that is not in this budget, but I'm considering that as a possibility, just because choral music is.
Let me chime in about another option, because one of the things we are looking at, and it's not, we don't know how much it would cost, is somebody who can do some online choral directing, recording the choir separately and mixing it together. This is something some other congregations are doing. So I think we're going to have like a pandemic way to staff that won't be the same way we staff it afterwards.
But are we saying that we aren't going to have in-building services the entire fiscal year?
There's a lot that's unknown, but if you read the things about when you can sing, that will be one of the last things we can do even when we're in the building, because singing is a super spreader. So this is why thinking about staffing, we may have somebody mix a recording of our choir and play it even when we're in the building for some period of time.
Okay, thanks.
This is Jamie Dobbs. I wasn't sure if you had said something about it, but I just wondered what the costs of the online church service, the new system for going online has been.
So that's under operations, and I'd have to pull that up because I don't remember off the top of my head. Claudia, are you in here? Do you remember what the amount is for video productions? Is Claudia here? You look like you're here.
I'm sorry, I just unmuted myself. 13,000, that's for all video productions.
Okay, thank you.
13,000 for how long?
A year.
I have a question. This is Miriam. If the budgeted amount for the choir director is potentially redistributed to other personnel to provide raises that are much needed, as was stated, how do we then afford a choir director in the future?
Thank you.
That is an excellent question. And my thought on that was that, and I'm not sure that this is a conversation that we need to have in the congregational meeting, but my thought on that was that there may be like a time when we sort of switch off from one employee to another at the end of a fiscal year. Let me talk about that with you specifically, Miriam.
Well, I could say something, which is to say, if you vote for this budget, you're voting for the same amount for your music director, and any change to it will happen through the democratic process, through your board, and if it's or congregational meeting, depending on how much money is involved. So for the purposes of today, you're approving the budget as written, and any other proposal about how to move forward in the pandemic will be a matter for democratically elected leaders.
This is Ruth Horton. I just wanted to speak up one more thing about the choir. I want to remind everybody that the choir is more than just music for a service. It's a small group ministry. And so these decisions about the choir affect a large small group ministry.
Well, one of the things that I feel pretty strongly about is that we need a plan for the pandemic and a skill set for the pandemic, which may not be the same skill set that we need when it's over. And there is a whole skill set to organizing choral music with what we're working with, multimedia. It involves video and sound. And so I think what we are probably going to put together is how do we want the choir, we want congregational singing to be strong. We want it to weather the current crisis. And so it may need a strategy. We didn't have a whole lot of time to think this through because, as we said, we passed this budget before Allison resigned. So that's why we don't have like a plan to present to you.
This is Susan Kovac. It would be helpful if we used the term music director, because the music program, not just the choir, and because we can't sing doesn't mean we don't need music.
And I agree. And I think Chaz has been doing a pretty good job about pulling together music for the services. And the one part that seems to be missing is the choral dimension of it. And that's why I was speaking to what was missing from the budget.
This is Bill. I just want to be clear. So when I vote for this budget today, I'm voting for what's there, and I'm voting for it, including a music director. So it would seem to me then that we vote for that, and we vote for the budget today. And I think this is what Chris was saying. And these discussions need then to be future discussions. And it would seem that there's a lot of people that need to be included and a lot of thinking that needs to go into it. So I'm not sure that we're not going off into something besides this budget. This is what we're voting for, right?
That is correct. Yeah.
Correct.
Yeah, this budget, again, was created just before Allison stepped down. So any talk about changes in personnel will have to happen after this budget is passed. So if there are any more questions about the budget, or I guess if there are no more questions about the budget, does anyone else have any more questions? Then at this point, I'm going to go ahead and put up the poll. You should now see the poll pop up on your screen. That was fast. We've already got 89% have voted already.
This is Rocky. Can you hear me?
Yes.
I approve.
Thank you, Rocky. All right, we are now at 1.5 minutes into the poll, and I'm going to go ahead and close the polling now. And I'll hand it back to you, Denise.
Okay, thank you, Robbie. The next item on the agenda is the approval of the minutes of the May 19, 2019 congregational meeting.
So there again, I'm going to put the minutes poll up. You should now see that.
Is what we're seeing on our screen the entire report of the minutes?
No, what you're seeing on the screen is just a screenshot of like part of the first page, just because I needed a visual.
So how do we access the minutes to know whether we approve or don't approve?
If you look on the left side, you'll see that there's a link there, which you can't click on because this is a screen share. But you can go to tvuc.org/members/meeting-minutes, or you can go to the website and I'll put a link. Actually, I'll put a link.
There was a link sent by Claudia in an email announcing this meeting.
Just yesterday.
Yes, it is in the announcement about the meeting. There is a link that has all of the pages of the minutes in there.
I've also just placed a link in the chat. So if you have the chat up and you can go down and click on that link, it should open up in a separate page, hopefully a separate page. If you're using an iPad, just be careful. Sometimes it's hard to get back to a Zoom meeting after you clicked away from it. So at this point in the polling process, we're 2 minutes and 15 seconds in, and it looks like we've only got 84% have voted. So we're going to go ahead and, I guess we should continue waiting, yeah?
Yes.
Okay.
This is Rocky. I approve.
Thank you, Rocky. Does anyone need more time?
I don't have a poll.
I don't know how to put the poll up there without ending the poll first. So I'm not sure how to put it back on your screen.
Is there something that we were supposed to read to see it? I wasn't there, so I can't approve it. So that's why I'm not.
All right. I think we're at 3 minutes and 50 seconds. I'm going to go ahead and end the polling. I mean, there's more than a quorum has voted for it anyway at this point. So is that cool, Denise? If I end polling?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. All right. And next up
is a brief review.
So Denise, that's you.
Okay. So I want to take some time now to just go through a brief review of the board accomplishments for 2019-2020. At the board retreat on August 19, 2019, the board voted its priorities for the year using our church vision action canvas, which is our strategic plan. And unfortunately, because of the pandemic, we were forced to shift our focus. So one of the first priorities we had selected was to motivate commitment and involvement of the congregation. And we did this with the work of the Strategic Planning Committee. We received feedback from a focus group of long-term members to understand how TVUC was meeting their needs and expectations. We also had several board members who attended the LRE visioning sessions, which were held by Catherine and Lori Farmer, to hear our youth vision and how they see their role in the church. There was another focus group that we had planned on using for members who rent space from the building, but again, because once the building was closed, we were not able to do that. So that'll be something we look at into next year. The other priority we had was increased membership and giving. The board continued its involvement in the stewardship campaign, and we had a successful one, which was led by Taylor Thomas, and he provided us with monthly updates on the planning and operations of fundraising. Several board members were involved in various aspects of the campaign, and we also attended a stewardship workshop, which was offered by the UUA Southern Region. The other priority we had was improved marketing efforts through managed campaigns and low-cost local and social media. And there was a fundraiser for advertising time on WUOT, which Jenna Mashburn led. And we worked with WUOT to create announcements that promote our church's programs and values. The other one of our focuses was distribute our church message through social media, video podcasting, and newsletters. Now for us, the pandemic accelerated our efforts in this area because the board and other committees started using Basecamp for communication and sharing of documents. Facebook was used to broadcast messages to the congregation, and Facebook was used for our virtual services, and Zoom, as we're experiencing today, became our primary meeting tool, and when necessary, we electronically voted via email on the board. So in this way, this was a good outcome from the pandemic. It expedited some of these things that we were focusing on. With strategic planning, the board and the strategic planning committee had agreed to review our priorities after 6 months. Well, based on the current environment created by the pandemic, we determined now that our priority has to be to create a phased reopening plan. The plan is being developed by the leadership team with advice from medical experts. Once it is completed, it will be shared with the congregation, and we will be asking for your feedback. The other thing we have this year that was delayed was our senior minister full evaluation. So this is the year of the full evaluation, which is administered every 3 years. Our committee this year consists of Linda Randolph as chair, Ryan McBee, Elnora Williams, and me. We will be getting feedback from community leaders and lay leaders. The survey period is scheduled to start tomorrow, June 15th through the 30th. This will roll over into the next board year, and Matthew and I have already talked about this and how we will manage it. And the next one is our policy governance, which we continue to focus on. We approved a revised recruiting and hiring policy, personnel committee charter, policy and procedure for program council block grant, and we also approved John Coffey's agreement as our TVUUC community minister. At this time, I also want to thank the board for all of their hard work and support, and for their ability to adjust to having to go electronically on most of the things we do. It was a learning curve for all of us, except for maybe a few of us, like our technical folks like Robbie and Ryan and Justina. But the rest of us, it has been a struggle. So thank you all for your support. Thank you. The next thing on the agenda will be a brief report of from our endowment committee. Is Ken here? I think I heard his voice at one point.
Yes, I'm here.
Thank you, Ken. You're up.
Thank you. I expressed my appreciation to the board, by the way. And I want to talk very briefly about the endowment fund. First of all, I want to point out that the endowment fund is now at nearly $450,000. And so my appreciation to members of our community continued to support the endowment fund. And I want to point out a few accomplishments that the fund has grown despite the projects. So we've had a number of projects, and a couple of them, I'll mention the recent ones, are the Welcome Garden, which is out at the front of the church. And if you haven't been there recently, because we're not in the building that much, it's a beautiful garden. And thanks to Doris Gove, who is leading that effort, it's really worth a visit. The other project, I was hoping we could celebrate things on our new fellowship patio. And the patio is there, so when we're back in the church, we'll get to enjoy that beautiful space. I point out that we have suspended somewhat consideration of some smaller grants in the current cycle because of the pandemic. But we did offer some emergency money for the congregation concerning video equipment and the need to move online with several things. And we have a tool shed and a fence, which is going to be going up at the end of the patio to store things. So those are continuing. We also have a RE grant of $3,500 from the endowment. And the RE committee will be putting that to good use in building a storage area for youth equipment. And they'll also be contributing from their own part of the endowment fund some additional RE funds to bring it to a total of nearly $5,500 in that project. So again, I want to thank the congregation. The endowment fund is here for the long term, and we stand ready in case of emergency during this pandemic crisis to help the congregation with unusual expenses. But thank you for continued support, and I want to thank a wonderful endowment committee for their hard work. So I think that concludes my report, and if there are any questions, I'll be happy to answer them. Over and out.
Ken, yeah, Ken. Oh, sorry.
Yeah, Ken, could you name the current members of the committee?
Yes, the current members are Betty Coleman, who's the secretary. Treasurer is Greer Novinger. Don Dougal, Bill Cherry, me, and did I name 7?
It's Greer. Bill Hotz.
Bill Hotz.
And Andrea Yates.
Andrea Yates. Thank you very much.
Ken, I had a question.
Yes.
I couldn't unmute myself in time. When will be the next period of application for small grants? Or is it possible to see?
Yes, the small grants was a change from our normal one large project model. And so the next cycle, the new committee will have to decide on whether there's going to be 1 or 2 large projects, or again, a cycle of smaller requests for smaller projects. And so we'll just have to see what develops and the needs of the congregation.
Ken, it's Jeff Miller. Had a question about, I'd heard in private conversations with Gene Burr about the possibility of upgrading or redoing or something, the solar collector stuff. Is that, what is the status of that? Or is that part of the endowment committee thinking, or just, tell me what you can.
No, we're not aware of any projects that have been proposed in that regard. And of course, I'm not sure what you're referring to, but there are maintenance issues and things which are really not the type of thing that the endowment fund projects are intended to cover. We're interested in sort of capital improvements. But I don't know anything about the issue you're bringing up. And
may I respond? May I respond? This is Will Dunklin. Jeff, the Building and Grounds Committee, working with Gene Burr, is discussing the solar panels right now. We would be happy to talk with you at any time.
I was just curious. I did. Thank you for filling me in, and I'll try to get in touch with you or Gene as I have further questions. Thanks.
Okay, any other questions for the endowment committee? Okay, over and out.
Thank you, Ken. The next item on the agenda is share the plate information. Unfortunately, Terry will not be able to be with us today because of the death of his father, and our condolences go out to him and his family. So the amounts donated to organizations chosen for 2019-20 may have been affected by the closing of the church in March, even though there is still a Sunday offering and Share the Plate program has continued. Organizations chosen for next year could likewise be affected. The Share the Plate committee suggested that we keep the same list of 12 organizations for the 2020-21 year, with assignments in the same amounts as the current year. So the Share the Plate organizations are Highlander Research and Education Center, Lonsdale Environmental Camp, Remote Area Medical, RAM, Imes Nature Center, Bridge Refugee Center, SEED, Socially Equal Energy Efficient Development, Beck Cultural Center, Beardsley Farm, Planned Parenthood of Middle and East Tennessee, Interfaith Health Clinic, and Tennessee Healthcare Campaign, and the Appalachia Community Fund. So the Share the Plate committee suggested that we keep the same list of organizations with assignments in the same months as they currently are. And the additional ones for designated offerings, switch back to that slide, Robbie, thank you. Family Promise, Fish Food Pantry, Lonsdale Mentoring Program, TVUC Community Gardens, Volunteer Ministries Center Meals, and TVUC at Advancing Equality Fund. So the board approved a motion to keep the Share the Plate schedule for 2021, the same as that approved for 2019-2020. Are there any questions on this?
I have one small question. Is there
Yes, John.
is there a place where we can see these two lists somewhere on the website, on our church website or something?
Robbie, has that been updated?
There will be. Give me an hour. I'll put it up there.
Thank you, Robbie.
I have a question, Jeff Miller, again.
Yes.
When I do the plate donations on for the service, I just say a non pledge donation, and I assume, and this is my question, does that go into a category that can be used for the Share the Plate as well as the church itself? Yeah, Claudia.
Yeah, I can say, Jeff, what we say with that online offering every Sunday is any contribution that is not designated as a pledge goes to either the designated offering or the Share the Plate recipient. So, so that is what happens. Anything, unless you specifically say this is a pledge, or you specifically write in there that you want it to go to the helping fund or something like that. Yeah.
Okay, so I'm giving it to whatever that is the non-pledge thing.
Yes.
Gets used as I would like it to be. Thank you.
Yes.
So this is Judy talking on Gordon Gibson's site. Claudia, let me make sure I know what you're saying. I thought Share the Plate meant all undesignated offerings were split 50-50 with this recipient and with the church. Is that true, or does the whole thing go to the recipient?
No, actually, that is true. I didn't clarify that. Yes, the Share the Plate is split 50-50. The designated offering goes 100% to whatever that organization is, because they only have one Sunday a month, whereas Share the Plate has 2 Sundays a month.
Okay, thank you.
Any others? The next item on the agenda is the election and results.
All right, let me throw the election results up here. So let's see. First, I'm going to go back to ballot number 1, which you should now see on the screen. And then I'm going to go to.
Hang on. We have to scroll to see the whole thing.
All right.
We have to scroll.
Yes, but he's going to have to scroll. I can't scroll because this is a shared screen.
Hey, Robbie, if you scroll, I'll just announce who they are. Will that work?
Here, can you see it this way? Does that work? No, you can't see that. That's too small. My bad. All right, hang on.
I was able to scroll, but somebody else may not be.
Hey, Robbie, I can scroll, so I can just read them off if you want me to.
That works.
Okay. Approved for president-elect is Ryan McBee. Alan Braswell was approved for program council chair-elect. Jeff Meller was approved for secretary for 1 year. Alice Woody, board member for 3 years. Linda Randolph, board member for 3 years. Heather Kishner was approved as board member for 1 year, completing the term of Ryan McBee. In the next list, that's the end of my scroll. Okay, Mark Mahundro was approved for the nominating committee chair-elect. Jenny Sneed, nominating committee for 2 years. Krista Schott, nominating committee for 2 years. Gail Anderson, endowment committee for 3 years. David Massey, endowment committee for 3 years. Is that it?
Yeah.
Yes? All right, so congratulations. Those are your new officers and board members for 2020-2019.
The budget was also approved. As were the minutes. And I didn't show the results from the first poll, but it was also approved. The thing to vote and meet virtually.
Okay, and a covenant. All right, so the next item on the agenda is the introduction of the TVUUC board president for 2020-21. And first I would like to say to the congregation, it has been an honor and a privilege to serve you this year. I have appreciated all of your support and patience throughout the year, especially during this time of the pandemic. I also want to thank the team who helped put together the congregational meeting today. I want to thank Robbie McMary, Ryan McBee, Matthew Blondell, Wendy Sire, Justina Hafantis, Catherine Farmer Lawyer, because trust me, without them, I would not have been able to pull this off. So thank you, thank you, thank you. And now I'm gonna leave you in the very capable hands of Matthew Blondell, our president for 2020-21.
Oh, we can't hear you.
Hello, sorry.
Yep.
Thank you, Denise. I wanted to thank everyone for joining us today and showing that we as a church can evolve and adapt. There will be glitches, but that's the way change works. It's a new way of doing church. We're living through a period of change and turbulence, of social upheaval and new direction for social justice. And this has affected how we do church. I want to thank Denise for being there at the start of this as our congregational president to help us through this transition. She's helped our church to a new style of worship and helped us use reason and intelligence to fashion a new direction for our congregation as we adapt to the unfolding events in regards to COVID-19. I also want to thank her for laying the groundwork to make my job easier and to help me be better prepared for next year. She did a whole lot of heavy lifting, She's been a tremendous leader to our board and the church as a whole, and I can only hope to fill her shoes adequately. I do want to give a little special thanks to Robbie McMurray for his technical support and leadership, because without him at the helm and fixing all our technical problems, we wouldn't be able to do all this, I don't think. He's one of the main reasons we're able to gather here the way we are today, so kudos to Robbie. And also, as Denise said, I want to thank all the other congregational committee meeting members for helping us do this. I also want to thank all of our outgoing board members and committee members for their hard work, and welcome all the new ones. I look forward to working with everyone, and it will be work. We're living in interesting times, and with the help of our board, our staff, our ministers, and of course all of you, all the congregation, I hope we can be a shining example of how to make it through these times using compassion, reason, love, and community. So please feel free to reach out to me in the coming year. I do want all of our voices to be heard. And other than that, remember, love is the spirit of this church. And I think now I'm supposed to put a motion to adjourn the meeting. Thank you all.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you all.
Thank you all very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, everybody.
Thanks.
Thanks,
you,
everyone.
Thank you, everybody.
Great job, everyone.
Meeting. Thank you.
Yeah, great job indeed. Wow.
Auf Wiedersehen.
Auf Wieder. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye, everyone.
You all.
Goal.
Adios.
Sayonara.
I guess we could say arsenic. That's goodbye in any language.
Oh.
I think
Thank
we're
you,
Saturday
Denise.
Night Live, just Sunday morning live. What the hey?
I'm gonna go ahead
Love you
and-
all and miss you. Praise God for this wonderful meeting.
Yeah.
Online is a good idea, COVID or no COVID.
Right.
I'm gonna go ahead and end the live stream on Facebook.
For one thing, it's much easier to identify the speaker.
Yes.
Right. You don't have to wait for the microphone.
Yeah.
Good thing
That's
programs
true.
run this way.
Goodbye, everybody.
Bye.
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 Bye. Bye now. Hope to see everyone soon.
Yes.
Bye, Brony. Is it just us?
There's still 17 people here. So
I'll leave.
you don't
No,
have
you
to
have
leave.
to. Hey, Barbara.
Hi.
How you doing?
I'm okay. Well, you know, I'm sitting here with ice on my knee, but I'm okay.
Oh,
I have a new knee.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh.
So it's not that new. It was pre-COVID shutdown, but it's new enough so that it's not doing as well as I had hoped by now, but I continue to work on it every day. So there you go. Anyway, thanks for a wonderful meeting, but especially thanks to the staff, the amazing staff who have gotten us through this in great form.
Yes.
And if you ever looked at the first Sunday, and then the second Sunday, and then the third Sunday services, you'd see the amazing differences moving forward. And I'm just, yes, just terrific. And I really think they are a snappy group of folks, and I appreciate them highly. And obviously, Denise, what a great leader. So thank you, thank you, thank you.
Thank you, Barbara.
Namaste.
Namaste. Are we gonna party now?
Yeah, right.
When does the party begin? Yeah.
It worked really well. I'm glad we didn't force everyone to be able to unmute and make the chat private. I think everybody did a good job with that.
I was kind of reserving the right to hit mute all, and you can't unmute if it got unruly, but I was like, it seemed to work fine.
I didn't realize
change that policy. So I told everybody they were going to be unmuted, or they were going to be muted, but.
But they were, but we originally weren't going to let people unmute themselves. But I'm glad we didn't, because I think that probably prompted a more transparent and clear discussion. So I'm not sure.
How did you actually do it? Did you mute everybody, and then how did you know they wanted to be unmuted?
At the beginning of the portion where we were sharing stuff, I hit mute all, but I did not change the setting that would have prevented them from unmuting themselves.
Oh, okay. I thought automatically if you muted, then they couldn't unmute, so they can unmute. Oh, that's interesting.
But there was I thought a lot of restraint, and it went orderly.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
I was amazed. Yay.
Yay.
Like,
I enjoyed having everybody check in before they were muted, because with so many people I haven't seen, or I haven't heard their voices. So I like that. I like doing it that way. Yeah.
Mark is back.
Are you signing out, Robbie?
You're muted, Mark.
Reflection Room is going to be starting in a few minutes, just on the same one as this. So.
Oh, so you're kicking us out.
Well, I was just making sure. I almost just hit end meeting, and you all would have been kicked off automatically. But
oh, the power!
but I
I'll talk to you tomorrow.
Okay, bye.
Okay, we're leaving then. Bye.
All right,
Thank
bye-bye.
you.
Ryan, Justina.
Thanks.